Okay, the OTA update, balance update for August 29th is here for Marvel Snap. I don't always go over them, but there are some big changes, so I thought I'd go over it. Okay, let's start with Atuma. Yes, Atuma got a change. Atuma's old ability was, well, he was a 410. After each turn, destroy this if you'll have another card here. Hit new, he's a 410 still, and after each turn, destroy one of your cards here with less power. So he doesn't destroy himself anymore, and he can technically destroy like a goblin or an X-23 or whatnot still. So he might actually be a good call for some destroy decks now. We'll see what happens with him. That's actually pretty interesting if I'm being honest. Now let's get down to business. Loki. Loki was a 3/5 on reveal. Replace your deck with your opponent's starting deck. Give them -1 cost and draw a card. People thought that was super weak, but it ended up being super broken. Now, he got nerfed. His new stat line, he's a 2/2, which means you could play him out on turn 2, turn 1 with Erisham. And he replaces your deck with your opponent's starting deck. Give those cards -1 cost. He doesn't draw the card anymore. He's a 2/2 and he doesn't draw the card anymore. So he's able to be summoned earlier, but he lost 3 of his power and he doesn't draw a card. So that means you can't really, because I'll be honest, I used to play him with stuff like Absorbing Man or really anything that could replay the effect. So I draw 2 cards, and because the deck will have been shifted anyway. So yeah, and then Copycat gets a nerf, okay? When her original 3/5, when you draw this, steal the text from the bottom card of your opponent's deck. Copycat is now a 3/5 with the effect. When you draw this, copy the text from the bottom card of your opponent's deck, meaning that it doesn't steal it anymore. So technically, this is enough because I just the other day actually was playing a game where I stole my opponent's Hela. They actually calculated it out that if they used their Jubilee, they would get Hela and win the game. But then when they got to get Hela, the text was not there because Copycat stole it. So this is technically a nerf. Yeah, this is technically a nerf in my eyes. Pretty big nerf, honestly, because one of the big things was making sure your opponent couldn't play it as well. But it still gives the intel. Let me know what you guys think about this change, okay? Then we have Beast. Beast has been through a lot. But yeah, Beast actually had changed a bit now. He used to be 2/2 on reveal, returning your other cards here to your hand. They cost 1 less next turn. Now his change makes him a 3/5. Now I'm going to read to you some of why they said they made this particular change. While the true bounce decks have been very strong lately, that's only part of why we're making this update. we have some upcoming cards and change it to existing one that will impact beast strength. And we've determined the most appropriate solution was to return to, quote, big beast and move it back up to the curve to 3 cost. Okay, so they said big beast, but I don't know, because big beast used to keep them costing 1 less for the whole game. It's still only for 110 now, so yeah, I don't know if you guys remember how Beast was originally back in the day, but if they're doing it to prepare for other cards, that makes sense, right? Taskmaster is on old 5-0 on reveal, set this card's power equal to the last card you played, if that card's in play. Now, the change, he does 6, he got 6. Okay, this seems like a nerf. Yeah, and it seems quite like a nerf. It could not be a nerf, and maybe I'm just calling things nerfs that aren't nerfs. I don't use Taskmaster a lot, but that doesn't enable the old combos anymore. You used to be able to skip and then do a She-Hulk Taskmaster combo if you wanted, but I don't think that's really viable now, because She-Hulk will go down to costing 1 on 10-6, but you won't be able to play Taskmaster and her together unless you run her in a negative deck, but I don't know many people that run her in the negative deck, because she herself could get swapped negatively. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this. Let me know your opinions on this. Then we have Cannonball. 5-7 is the old one. On reveal, move the highest power enemy card here away. If you can't destroy it with a rock. Okay, so basically, if you can't destroy, replace it with a rock, I believe is the correct terminology here. Sounds weird, but yeah. Now, Cannonball's a 5-8. They've adjusted Cannonball's power in an abundance of caution. Earlier this year, the card's play rate and win rate were very high, and we wanted to ensure that the meta game would shift appropriately. It has, and we feel comfortable reverting Cannonball to a 5-8 now. So basically, for those of you guys that don't know, Cannonball actually was 5-8 at launch, but then, stuff happened and they nerfed him. And yeah, well, now they're putting him back to his regular spot, which is interesting because move will become relevant and unrelevant in the next coming months. So we'll see what happens there. And then finally, we have Destroyer. Destroyer change is interesting. Okay. Old, he was a 6-16. On reveal, destroy your other cards. Now he's 14. On reveal, destroy your cards at other locations, meaning he doesn't destroy the cards in his current location. Honestly, this actually gives me flashbacks to a game that I played either earlier or yesterday. I literally lost just because he destroyed all his other teammates in that location, and it lost me the game. I just needed like 3 more power and he destroyed 6 power. Okay. But yeah, let's see. We're sure many of you have a soft spot for Destroyer from those early series days, using Adam Solo or Cosmo to dodge the downside, maybe with a side of Warpath to win the second location. However, this rad card had struggled to find its legs in later stage play, so we've decided to change the effect to give it a better chance at supporting cards like Nimrod and Death, given how well Destroyer can challenge to win its own location. Challenge to win its own location. We're also taking back a bit of power at competition. See, that is an interesting change, okay? Because they mentioned Nimrod, and one of the things about Destroyer is he used to not care where Nimrod was. He would just destroy. But now, if Nimrod is in his lane, Nimrod won't get destroyed. So you gotta be a little bit careful about that now. That is interesting. So in a rare scenario where you'll have Nimrod in one lane, Cosmo in, let's say you'll have Nimrod on the right lane, then you'll have Cosmo, your opponent had a Cosmo in the middle lane and an armor on the left lane. Well, what do you do? I guess you could play into the armor lane to destroy Nimrod, but then that might cost you the game because you might have too much power in the one right lane. I don't know. I'm thinking up scenarios, but I think this all but not really killed Nimrod Destroyer package, but made it a little more complicated, I feel like. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Comment section below. This was the OTA, and with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.